World's highest IQ holder sets timeline for XRP to hit new all-time high. The crypto market is entering a critical transition phase where long-term structure is beginning to overpower short-term speculation. After years of uncertainty, regulatory pressure, and delayed infrastructure development, XRP is once again capturing serious attention, not because of hype, but because of alignment. This renewed focus intensified after Yang Hoon Kim, widely known online as the world's highest IQ holder, shared a forward-looking perspective on when XRP could realistically reach a new all-time high. Unlike influencers who chase price predictions, Kim focused on timing, structure, and macro alignment. In this video, we are going to break down why his insight matters, what the market cycles reveal, and how XRP may be entering its most important phase yet. So why is XRP gaining serious attention again? XRP's renewed relevance isn't based on hype or viral speculation. Instead, it's driven by a structural shift in the crypto market itself. After years of legal uncertainty and fragmented narratives, XRP is now being re-evaluated as a long-term infrastructure asset rather than a speculative token. What's important to understand is that markets reward clarity. When uncertainty fades, capital follows structure. XRP is now positioned in a phase where institutional investors, payment networks, and liquidity providers can finally assess it without regulatory fear. This shift signals a deeper transformation. XRP is moving from controversy to credibility. That alone changes how the market treats it, especially during a broader expansion phase. So, who is Yang Hoon Kim and why does his view matter? Yang Hoon Kim is widely recognized online for holding the world's highest recorded IQ. And while intelligence alone doesn't predict markets, his analytical framework deserves attention. Instead of making bold price claims, Kim focused on timing, which is often far more accurate in long-term market behavior. His perspective stands out because it avoids emotional trading narratives. He examines macro cycles, regulatory clarity, and infrastructure readiness, three elements that historically precede major market expansions. What makes this powerful is that Kim isn't predicting a sudden explosion. He's pointing toward a window of opportunity where conditions quietly align before the crowd realizes what's happening. So how do market cycles point to January 2026? Crypto markets move in cycles, and these cycles are often driven by Bitcoin's halving events. Historically, major altcoin rallies after 12 to 8 months after a halving, as capital rotates from Bitcoin into higher risk assets with stronger upside potential. Bitcoin's most recent halving occurred in April 2024. That places the next major altcoin expansion window between late 2025 and early 2026. XRP historically behaves differently from most assets. It tends to lag during early hype phases, but moves aggressively once clarity, infrastructure, and liquidity align. This makes January 2026 a particularly strategic moment within the cycle. This is not a speculation, it's pattern recognition grounded in historical behavior. So, why does regulatory clarity change everything for XRP? One of the most defining moments for XRP came in 2025 when the long-standing legal battle between the SEC effectively concluded. With appeals withdrawn and no further litigation pending, XRP entered a new regulatory era in the United States. This shift is monumental. For institutions, regulatory clarity isn't optional, it's mandatory. Without it, adoption stalls. With it, capital flows confidently. Globally, regulatory frameworks are also maturing. Countries embracing blockchain-based payment systems are now more willing to integrate assets like XRP. This isn't a speculation, it's infrastructure alignment. In short, XRP is no longer fighting for legitimacy. It's preparing for scalability. So how is infrastructure finally catching up to utility? Beyond regulation, XRP's ecosystem has matured significantly. The launch of Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin in December 2024, combined with improvements in tokenization and XRPL liquidity frameworks, has transformed XRP's real-world usability. This evolution matters because true value comes from utility, not narratives. XRP is positioning itself as a settlement layer asset capable of handling real financial volume. As infrastructure strengthens, higher valuations become sustainable, not speculative. This is the phase where long-term investors typically enter before the broader public notices. So is January 2026 a prediction or a convergence point? Kim never framed January 2026 as a guaranteed outcome. Instead, he described it as a convergence point where multiple forces align simultaneously. Market cycles, regulatory clarity, and infrastructure readiness. When these elements synchronize, history shows that new all-time highs often follow. Not because of hype, but because systems finally function as intended. For XRP holders, this moment represents a shift from uncertainty to preparedness. Finally, in my own personal view, XRP is entering one of the most important phases in its history. Not because of price speculation, but because its foundational barriers are finally dissolving. What stands out is the patience required. XRP doesn't reward impulsive thinking. It rewards understanding structure, timing, and utility. If January 2026 truly marks a convergence point, then today's period may be remembered as the calm before a structural expansion, not a hype cycle, but a maturation phase. As always, the market rewards those who understand before they react. And this finally ends our video. Thank you very much for watching and see you on the next one.